Okay, good day, class. Welcome to CRS Live class at your study part. Today, class, we'll be looking at some basic topics in CRS. We're going to start from the first topic, which is the sovereignty of God. The sovereignty of God. Now, in our class today, we'll be looking at which is sovereignty of God. So, under this topic, we want to look at the meaning of sovereignty of God. What do you understand by the term sovereignty of God? Okay. Then we'll also be looking at two ways that God demonstrated his supremacy power. What are the two ways? One, in the creation story, and the second one, God being the controller of the universe. And talking about the first one, which is the creation story, we want to look at all things God created day by day till we get to day 6. And what happened after day 6? That is the first creation story. Then we also look at the other aspect, which is the second creation story. What happened after God has created the universe? So we also be talking on that particular aspect. So let's take it one after the other. Don't forget the topic is sovereignty of God. Now we need to understand what is meant by the word sovereignty. Okay? Now, when we use the word sovereign, the word sovereign is similar, or we can say it's well synonymous to the word supreme, or we say superior, or it states when one has absolute or unlimited power. So that's just the basic meaning of what sovereignty. Again, the word sovereign is synonymous or similar to the word supreme, or we say what superior, like a term used to describe when someone has what unlimited or absolute power. So what now is the meaning of sovereignty of God? We can define sovereignty of God as the supremacy or unlimited or absolute power of God. Very simple. The supremacy or absolute or unlimited power of God. So let me just write on the board. Sovereignty of God means the supremacy or unlimited or absolute power of God. So that just what the basic meaning of what refers to as sovereignty of God. Again, sovereignty of God means the supremacy or unlimited or absolute power of God. Okay. Now, in our Genesis class, when we do have your CRK or the name you call it in your school, we talk about the attribute of God. We look at the attribute of God in three forms, talking about omnipotence, omniscience, and omnipresence. Okay. Now, but it's a little bit different here when it comes to our SS class. We call it our sovereignty of God. And we'll be looking at how God demonstrated a supreme or unlimited power through what? Two basic aspects. Okay. Now we can say that God's sovereignty is demonstrated into what? Major form. The first one, show the creation story. And the second one, God being what? The controller of the universe. God's sovereignty is demonstrated into major forms or ways. First one, creation account. Second one, God as the controller of the universe. Now, we'll be taking this one after the other. I remember past YA question, students were asked to give accounts of the chronological order of creation story. Okay? Now, in this class, we'll put it through on how to what? Answer question like that. Okay? Now, let's take it to the first one. On the first one, we have creation accounts. The creation accounts now, what do you want to look at on that creation account? We want to see how God created the whole universe and things that are inside the world universe, starting from the 1, the 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Past Jamb question. It was asked that the creation account, God created everything in how many days? Okay. So the answer there is what? In 6 days. Okay. And we're going to see the work of creation from day 1 to day 6. So let's take it one after the other. So I'll be writing 1. The 1 on the board shows that what? The 1. If I put 2, it means what? The 2, like that, okay? So the 1, God created light. The 1, God created light. Now, in some sales textbook, it says a lot of words, notes on that, okay? I don't believe in notes. I believe in simplified for the students. And that is why we are here at your study part to give you the best, okay? Now, the 1, God created what? Light. Now, what do you want to know here? Okay? Now, this question is different from the one I want to ask now. Past Jamb question. In the beginning, God created dash. In the beginning, God created dash. It's different from what God created the first day. If the question is asked in the beginning, God created heaven and earth. That's the answer to that word question. But when it comes to what? Creation story, what God created the first day is what? Light. Are we together? I don't want us to what? Mix it up, okay? In the beginning, God created heaven and earth. But first day of creation, God created what? Light. Okay? Now, let's just talk about how they can ask question on the first day of what? Creation. Now, past Jamb question, it was asked that day and night was created in which day? Day and night was created in which day? Now, the answer there is what? The fourth day. The fourth day, okay? Now, God created what? Light. Because God saw that the whole earth is what? Void and filled with what? Darkness. So God has to what? create what? Light. And the creation of light, God separates what? Darkness from what? Light, which now give us what? Day and what? Night. In some past question, you see what? Morning and what? Evening. Anyway, they ask the question, it's still what? Work of the one. The one God created what? Light. As a result, we now have what? Day and what? Night. Are we together? Now, going forward, let's see what God created the second day. Day 2. Day 2, God created heaven. God created what? Heaven. Or you say what? Firmament. That is the work of what? Day 2. Now, remember that I asked a question the other time that was asked chronological order of creation story. This is how you keep what? Listening. Don't need story. Just go straight to the points. The one, God did that. The two, God did this, like that, like that, like that, like that. Are we together? You don't have to waste time explaining, okay? Now, God created what? Heaven or firmament, okay? Some past question, they want to make it unbalanced. They can say, second day God created, you not see heaven there, okay? You see what? Firmament there. We are still talking about same thing. Are we together? So day 3. Now, in day 3, God created dry land, sea, and vegetation. 3 in 1, okay? Day 3, God created dry land, sea, and vegetation. Another word you can use to replace the word vegetation, you can say plants. God created plants, created what? Vegetation. We're still talking about the same thing, okay? Dry land, that is earth, okay? Sea, talking about what? Water bodies. Are we together? Dry land, we can have it as what? Earth. Sea, water bodies. Vegetation, plants. So that is the work of what? Day 3. Now, the next one, the 4th day, we want to look at what God created, okay? God created heavenly bodies. God created what? Heavenly what? Bodies. Now, you need to understand what is meant by the heavenly bodies. When we say heavenly bodies, we're talking about three things: the sun, moon, and stars. The sun, moon, and what? Stars are referred to as what? The heavenly what? Bodies. Okay? Then, let me also tell you how they will ask question here according to account of the 4. They can ask you that the greater light and the what? Lesser lights were separated in which day? Answer is what? Day 4. Okay? Greater light for the day, while lesser night for the night. Greater light for the day, lesser light for the night. Okay? Now, if I'm to ask the question, which of these do you think will go for what? The greater light for the day. Answer should be what? Sun. We have sun during the day, okay? That's for what? The greater light. Why the lesser light for the night? We have what? Moon and what? Stars, okay? There's no way we can have moon during the day or have stars during the day. It's not possible, okay? That's what we meant by what? The separation of what? Light from what? Greater light to what? Lesser light, okay? Now, let's continue. Still on the creation account, I want to see what happened on the 5. Day 5, God created sea animals and birds of the air. God created sea animals. When you say sea animals, that is animals in the what? In the water, in the sea, all those aquatic creatures, okay, that were God created on what? The 5, and birds. And what? Birds of the air. So that is account for what? The 5. Okay. For the 6, God created land animals. Land animals. Some textbook, you see what? Beast of the land. Okay. It is animal that live on the land. Okay. And what? And man. And man. That's for what this is. So God created the whole world from day 1 to what? The 6, using what? 6 days. And on the 7th day, God rested. God rested and declared it a Sabbath day. And declared it what? A Sabbath day. Sabbath day, as the text Sabbath day uses, it means what? A day that is what? Holy. Okay, a day that is what? Holy. The word Sabbath means what? A day that is what? Holy. So what happened on the 7th day? God rested and declared it what? Declare it a Sabbath day. So the white students, they asked to give chronological accounts of the first creation story. These all you are expected to what? Write, and not notes. Okay, some of us write and be like, but I copied a lot of things. Oh, at the end of the day, you did not see the result. Okay, so this just what? A quick one. Just write it down, and that's how you're going to what? Have it in your exam. Let's have it together. So that's how you just have it in the exam. And don't forget, those of us preparing for WAEC, whether GCE or your normal internal WAEC examination, don't forget that WAEC do give what? What's it called? Minimum space for writing. Just a small space for what? Writing. So there's no time. This is not the era of what? Writing story, or you say, I need what? More booklets. Nobody's giving you booklets. Are we together? So you just have to manage that little what? Space provided for you to what? To supply your answers. So thank you. So move ahead again. Now, let's talk about second creation story. Second creation story. So this account is for what? The first creation, okay? Let's see the account. Second creation account. Second creation account. Now, let me also give us one important information here, okay? Now, the supremacy of God in this first account is demonstrated through what? Spoken words. Through what? Spoken words. Let there be, and we have it that way. Let there be light, then we have what? Lights. I can ask you, what is the exact supremacy of God in the world creation account? The exact spirit of God is that God created everything through what? Spoken words. That make God that's the exact thing that make God what? Supreme. No one can do that. Okay. Now let's continue. Second creation story. Now the journey of the second creation story starts from after God has what? Created what? Man. And we also need to know how God created man. We need to know how God created man. Now, past by a question, it was asked, man was created from dash. What's the answer? Man was created from the word dust of the ground. Man was created from dust of the ground. That's very simple, okay? You need to know how God created man. Man was created through what? Dust of the ground, okay? Now, after knowing that, let's go. Don't forget, I said the second creation story have to start with what? The journey of what? Man. Now, after God has created what? Man. Don't forget, I mentioned that man was created through the dust of the ground. So now, after God has created what? Man. Okay? God now put what? Man in charge of what? Everything. God put what? Man in charge of what? Everything. Past question. They ask that what is that thing that make man to be equal with God? What is that thing that make man to be what? Equal with what? With God. Don't forget, Bible makes us understand that man was made in the image of God. Now, the image of God is that equality we have with what? With God as man. And what is that thing? Show the breath of life. The breath of life. That what make man the image of God. Breath of life. Don't forget, spelling is on the board. Show what? The breath of life. Show what? The breath of life. Man was made in the likeness. In the what? In the likeness of God. Man was made in the what? Likeness of what? God. Through the word breath of life. Okay? And how did God give us that breath of life? Now, he puts in his what? Nostril. That what? That breath of what? Life. Which make man what? The likeness of God. We say what? The image of God. Now, back to our second creation story. I just explained how man was made and how man is made what? Likeness of God. Okay? Now, God has created man. So the first man, which is what? Adam. The name of the first man, this man we're talking about, the name was given by God as what? As Adam. The name was given to God by what? God as what? As Adam. What is the meaning of the name Adam? Adam means father of all living. Adam means what? Adam means father of all living. As short as that. That is the meaning of what? Adam. Father of all living. Okay? Now, God made, let me just give you the highlights of what happened in the world. Second creation story. God named the man as created through the dust of the ground, through the what? Dust of the ground. Adam. Let's have it this way. God named the man he has created through the dust of the ground Adam, which means which means father of all living. Which means father of all living. In case you ask, what is the meaning of the name Adam? It means what? The father of all living. Okay? So let's look at the second one. Second one. God gave him, God gave him a breath of life through his nostril. which made him a likeness of God.